We're going to look at this concept of the free player and how do we find them? Who are they? It's important that we're able to see this. So the idea is that the free player is the one versus zero. So this is really important, as we've discussed often, is that the game is 11 versus 10, and the goal is to identify and advance that extra player up the field. So as we recognize, and as you'll see in here, the free player can change quickly, and it is a momentary advantage, be it spatial, be it the time that they have can be very short, but it is the advantage, and that's the player that allows us to create the next advantage. So we look at a couple still frames from a professional game. So we look at this. Obviously they're looking to build deep. The team in white is pressuring them really high up the field, and you start to see a lot of man-focused or man-to-man, player-to-player marking. So everyone is matched up. So the idea is the player on the ball, then knowing this, has to try to identify collectively and with the team and with themselves, where is that extra player? And so in this case, it's the goalkeeper. So again, if you look at all that, who's the player that is left unmarked? And so the idea is, can we then move the ball to that player? So as we watch, boom, this pass, and this is that freeze frame. Now that's the extra player. And there's a lot of concepts that go into that, what we've talked about. Because as you look at this is a different picture than the freeze frame we showed before. So now who's the free player? It is the right center back. Now watch, the right center back's free, but they become no longer free because the defender stepped to them. So this is that freeze frame. Who now is the new free player? It's the goalkeeper. Eventually pressure is going to arrive on the goalkeeper. And as you look at this, and this is where we work the third player a lot, as that ball is traveling into the feet of that player arriving from the higher line, the eyes of the white team are on the ball traveling, and then that player loses sight of the next free player, who also becomes the third player. So watch. Now it's a little bit of skill that's really high quality, but that player is now free. So that wider left player is now free to receive and has the time-space advantage to carry forward. So that's a good example. Another one we look at here, similar concept. We've got people matched up. So you can see player for player, the person on the ball is about to receive some pressure. Who is the extra player for that team? It is that player there. And oftentimes the extra player will sometimes be left or be behind the pressing player. So that player is living in its shadow. So how do we move the ball into that space? And now that player is able to carry forward. So watch again. Same freeze frame we looked at. The supporting player arrives to support. Yeah, and everyone's matched up. And this is where we ask a lot from our central players, is that they have to be able to deal with a little bit of pressure from behind and still be able to complete that pass, because there is the advantage. You've got a player by themselves, facing forward, able to advance the ball up the field. Now, example for us. So we look at this, similar concept, playing against St. Ben's. We see where we're matched up. Who is the extra player, as we say? So who is that by themselves? In this case, it is our right center back. So we're looking at how do we move the ball in order to find that. Now, as you can tell at our level, the pressing distances are a little bit different. And in this case, as you see the clip go on, there we go. That same idea. We've got players matched up. Pressure is starting to arrive on the goalkeeper. Our center midfielder arrives, and she's then able to play forward. Now, the cool thing about this next one is, as she advances, you'll see some of the details. So as we look at this, as she's dribbling forward, she's got time and space. And an important concept for us is that when the free player has space with them or space in front of them, we want them to keep dribbling until that picture changes. So Zoe, in this case, dribbles forward. That player steps. So we often talk about the player that jumps. So this defender that jumps will give an answer or give who is the next best option based on how and who jumps. So in this case, she jumps. That allows our wing back to be the next free player to then receive and play. So again, some similar concepts. So if we went back to the full clip of it, you can see bounces to the free. Now our right center back dribbles forward. Now that player jumps. So now our right wing back is by themselves. We play to that player, and now that player has time and space to carry forward. So another clip from this game. Again, as you look at it, our center back has the ball. Her closest rivals often are marked up, except for our left center back is now free. So the mission is, can we get the ball to the left center back, who is now the free player? And that then gives space for that player to drive forward. So as we watch it live, and there's that matchup. You see where people are marked player for player. And in St. Ben's was more of a zonal team. And this is where we start to look at that. They're sitting in there as she starts to drive forward. And this is what Lee, in this case, the left center back, does really well. She first drives into the middle of the field. And we often talk about that. We want you to start into the middle of the field and look at the reaction from their wide midfielders. So they have a right midfielder there. She starts to stay tucked in because she doesn't want to get beat through, which then makes the pressing distance for the ball out wide bigger. So now our left wing back is able to carry forward with tons of space. So watch again. You can see that domino effect. She drives forward. Eventually that player is going to have to make a choice. She squeezes in. Now re-release to a new free player who can then look and play forward. So again, just a few examples. Obviously, we have the professional game. We have our game. But the idea is, can we collectively recognize who's free? And then how do we collectively get the ball to that player? And then understand that that's then going to create the next new free player as we progress up the field.